Good afternoon, students. Welcome to today class. Today we will discuss branching style programming. Learning objective of today class: student will be able to understand the branching meaning, principle of branching programming, structure of branching programming, technique of branching programming, advantage and disadvantage of branching programming. The second type of program instructions is the branching or intrinsic or Cowderian programming. It has proposed by Norm A. Crowder in 1954. There are several principles of elective teaching is used. All scheduled activities are controlled by the student, so it has called internal programming. Branching programming was initially developed in conjunction with the use of an electronic training device for military personnel. The technique provides the student a piece of information, present a situation requiring multiple choice or recognitions response, and on the basis of that choice instruct the student to propose to another frame where he or she learn if the choice was correct, and if not, why not. A student who respond incorrectly will either be turned to the original frame or rotate through a subprogram designed to remedy the deficiency indicated by the wrong choice. A student who select correctly advises to the next frame in the program. This process is repeated at each step throughout the program, and a student may be exposed to differing amount of material depending upon error made. Definition of program instructions or branching programming. A program instruction is a method of self-instruction that enlists machine or especially prepared books to teach information, according to Chris Jordan. Frame arrangement in branching programming. In branching program item, the student is given short discussion on the material to be learned, followed by a multiple choice question designed to the test, the point just discussed. Each answer alternative has page number beside it. The student choose what he believe in correct answer to the questions and turn to the page number given for that answer. If he has choose correctly, he is lead to next item, and if has chosen an incorrect answer, he is directed to a page where in the reason for incorrectness is dismissed, or it given uh, remedial instructions. Now we will discuss types of uh, branching programming. We have three types of branching from programming: uh, linear programming, branching or intrinsic style programming, computer assisted instruction. We already discussed computer assisted instruction or linear programming in our previous video. If you want to learn both types of programming, you watch my previous video, so you will understand these two types of programming. Today we will deeply discuss branching or intrinsic style programming. Intrinsic style programming Norman Crowder uh, developed this model. His model focus problem solving from communication point of view. Principles of branching programming: principle of exposition, principle of diagnosis, principle of remediation. We will discuss uh, in detail all three types of principle of branching programming. Principle of exposition: the learner should perceive the whole phenomena, which should be so exposed to him. It means a student learner better if the whole concept is presented to him. The complete information is provided on home page. It serves two purposes: teaching and diagnosis. Next principle of branching programming: principle of diagnosis. The principle referred to identify the weakness of learner. After exposition, it is assisted whether he could learn the concept or not. If he could not learn what are the cluster. uh, mm, what was the causes for it? A multiple choice format is used to diagnose the weaknesses of the learner. Third principle of branching programming, the principle of remediation. The diagnosis provide the basis for remediation. The medical instruction are provided on wrong page. If the learner choose wrong alternatives, he has to move a wrong page. Where remedial instruction is provided to him and direct to return to home page. He is asked to choose the right response. It is known as principle of remediation. Now we will discuss characteristics of branching programming. The main feature of branching programming are as follows. Branching programming, then linear programming, compared to each text frame comes more teaching materials. Needs of student at various position have the freedom to reach the final position. Third characteristics of branching programming is programming, it is controlled by the students. Next characteristics of programming, it serves psychological as well as social motivation to the learner. Fifth characteristics of branching programming is it can be used for conceptual as well as descriptive content of teaching. Next characteristics of branching programming is the programming based on student potential error that emphasizes teaching materials. Next characteristics of branching programming is seventh, incorrect responses. The student is given the opportunity to correct it. Then he research to the text to the next step until he could not answer his first major post. Next characteristics of branching programming is each frame has to make it very clear and big. Ninth characteristics of branching programming is the strategy plays an important role in the development of student uh, reasoning power. Next characteristics of branching programming is the student center strategy. Next characteristics of branching programming is the strategy is based on traditional tutorial method. It gives emphasizes to difficulties and need of each and every learner. 12th characteristics of branching programming is the initiative remain equal interest and learning subjects. 13 characteristics of branching programming. These mistakes could not uh, impede the learning process because it assumed that the initiatives it has learned from the mistake and the mistakes to fix the system is organized. Next characteristics by initiatives, such materials, books and teaching machines both are useful. Number 15 characteristics of branching programming is the differentiation potential of in creative creativity and problem solution is helpful in development of qualification. Now we will discuss a structure of branching programming. The program text uh, consists of two types of pages: home page and wrong page. Home page, this page consists of content or concept and followed by multiple choice questions which involve four aspects. First is teaching. The learner goes through the instruction to comprehend the concept or information. Second, responses. At the end of instruction, multiple choice is given to the learner to choose the correct responses, which the learner has to discriminate the response is intrinsic. Number third, diagnosis. If the learner choose the wrong responses, he has to move the wrong page. If he chooses the right response, he move to the next home page where the next unit is presented. Number fourth, reinforcement. The responses is reinforced by confirming it at the beginning of the home page. Hence, the learner is encouraged through verbal approval or praises. Now we discuss wrong page. Wrong page or remedial frame involves repeating student response, negative confirmation, reason as to why he is wrong, further explanation in a single language, direction as to where the learner should go to next, technique of branching program. There are two technique in branching program: backward branching and forward branching. First, we will discuss backward branching. If the learner makes an error, he has to take to the remedial frame where he is given some more help in the understanding the concept and solving the problem. He is then directed to the original frame number 1. So the learner goes through the same frame twice, once before the remedial material is referred uh, by him. Now we will discuss forward branching. When the learner gives a correct or wrong response, he goes to the next or new page. If he makes a wrong choice, he is directed to the remedial frame where his mistakes are fully explained. This is followed by another parallel questions from which he goes to the next frame in the mainstream. Now we will discuss advantage of branching programming. Program instruction are more successful in critical uh, sagacity uh, of the logic or various subject and inspiring subject creativity, thinking, and judgment. Good teacher are freed from the human drum of routine classroom activity, and they are in a position to develop their time to more creative activities. The use of program instruction has potential to improve the quality of education in general. It helps a teacher to diagnose the problem of the individual learner. The use of program learning has brought a revolution in the social setting of the classroom. Many emotional and social problems have been eliminated and problem of discipline have been solved automatically. Program instruction is a great thrust in the direction of individualized instructions. A well organized program instruction device is uh, tailored to create to the need of individual student of the class. So it is tailored. So well organized program instruction device is uh, tailored to create the need of the individual student of the class. By presenting the learning material in a small segment of information uh, frame, it make learning an interesting game in which the learner is challenged by his own uh, capabilities. Now we will discuss limitation of branching program. The students take little interest to use screen blend textbooks because uh, they are used to follow the sequences of pages in their study. When the learner select wrong responses, he has to move to the same material of the home page for choosing the correct response. This reduces the probability of important in learning difficulties. The learner has to select a response from given multiple choice alternatives. He can select his response by uh, guessing without comprehending the concept. Therefore, it will help in diagnosis the learner difficulties. There is a no check for the guessing. Next limitation of program branching programming. It has no sound theoretical formulation or theory. It cannot be used for preparing instructional material in every school subject. Next limitation, even whole content of the subject cannot be presented through this strategy. Number seventh limitation of branching programming is it is relatively expensive initiatives. Next limitation, it is more useful for higher classes. Uh, Next limitation, the initiative for the certain for the creation of the skilled and trained and qualified teachers are required. Program instruction does not eliminate competition of grade as often claimed. Mere manipulation of the machine not is not rewarding once novelty years of or if too many errors appears, the student lose interest and motivation. Later reinforcement often do not accelerate uh, learning. Program instruction restricts the learner's freedom to choose, resulting in uh, cramping of his imagination or initiatives. Operate conditioning is found successfully only with some students in some cases and not in all. PI ignores or make inadequate provision for variable like cognitive personality and motivational variable. These are the references you should go through for further more detailed knowledge of the branching programming. Now times for MCQs. Who state that a program instruction is a method of self instructions that enlist uh, mechanism or especially repaired uh, prepared books to teach information. Option A, Chris Jordan. Option B, Bacon. Option C, Alexander. Option D, John. Correct answer is Chris Jordan. Second MCQs, branching model, focus problem solving from communication point of view. Uh, Option A, branching. Option B, linear. Option C, computer. Option D, program instruction. Correct answer is branching. Next, filling the blanks. The whole concept is presented to the filling the blanks so that he can learn the complete information better, which is provided in the home page. Option A, student. Option B, teacher. Option G, mentor. Option C, D, guide. Correct answer is option A, student. the whole concept is presented to the student so that he can learn the complete information better which is provided in the home page. Next MCQs. The program text is called filling the blanks. Option A, scram blood. Option D, uh, defined. Option C, concept. Option D, example. Correct answer is option A. Next MCQ. Principle of filling the blanks serve two purpose, teaching and diagnosis. Option A, exposition. Option D, detail. Option C, concept. Option D, topic. Correct answer is exposition. The principle of exposition serve two purpose, teaching and diagnosis. Next MCQs. In principle, filling the blanks, a learner choose the wrong alternative. The learner has to move to wrong page where a instruction is provided. Option A, remedial. Option B, exposition. Option C, diagnostic. Option D, detail. Correct answer is option A, remedial. A principle of remedial, a learner choose the wrong alternative. The learner has to move to the wrong page where the remedial instruction is to provided. Next MCQs. In the principle, filling the blanks, the weaknesses of the learner is identified after expositions. Option A, remedial. Option B, exposition. Option C, diagnosis. Option D, detail. Correct answer is diagnostic. Option C, in the principle of diagnosis, the weaknesses of the learner is identified after exposition. Next MCQs. Filling the blanks texts consist of two types of pages. Option A, scram blend. Option B, content. Option C, detailed. Option D, diagnosis. Correct answer is option A, scram blood. Text is consist of two types of pages. Next MCQs consist of concept and followed by the multiple choice question. Option A, home page. Option B, multiple page. Option C, front page. Option D, fixed page. Correct answer is home page. Home page consists of concept and followed by multiple choice questions. Next MCQs. When the learner gives a correct or wrong responses, he goes to the filling the blanks page. Next, old, traditional or fixed. Correct answer is option A, next page. When the learner gives a correct or wrong response, he goes to the next page. Uh, Thank you, student, to listen me patiently. Uh, have a good day.